Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're digging into, well, a really chilling story from a classic sci-fi source. We're heading to this apparently quaint English village, Creighton Mere. You can picture it, right? Rolling hills, charming cottages, and right in the middle, this old wishing well.
Yeah.
You know, the kind steeped in local legends, lost treasure, all that. Sounds lovely. But what this story reveals about that place, about those little whispers of folklore, it's way more terrifying than any village ghost story. What was really down that well?
Absolutely. And this deep dive, it's really a journey into how these seemingly harmless local tales,
Hmm.
even in fiction, can sometimes hide something much, much darker. We're going to explore the, frankly, unsettling events that kick off when some treasure hunters, a very curious doctor and his companion, accidentally uncover what's truly inside that well.
Yeah, so our mission today is to sort of peel back the layers here. We'll go from village gossip right through to extraterrestrial horror and see how these, well, unexpected heroes step up when the well unleashes its secret. And to really get it, we have to start right there at the village heart, the old well itself. So, Creighton Mere. The main feature is this old village well. It draws tourists, people making wishes, but it's also the source of all these local stories. The source material paints a picture of it being pretty run down, actually. Crumbling bricks and this heavy iron grill over the top, hiding whatever's down there. And this is where we meet our first group. Nigel Carson and his two mates, Ben Seddon, described as wiry, mousy hair, glasses, and Duncan Good, taller, messy blonde hair, Welsh accent. Their plan: find 2 million quid in gold, supposedly hidden in a secret tunnel under the local manor.
And right away, you see this really interesting split in what they're after. Ben and Duncan, they want, tangible stuff. Duncan wants a nice car, a new house for his mom. Ben's talking about paying off student loans, maybe an Aston Martin.
Hmm.
Pretty standard dreams, right?
Totally. But Nigel's different. He says things like, there's more to this than fancy cars, and he talks about power.
Which immediately flags something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What kind of power is he talking about? It hints that maybe the gold isn't his main goal, or at least not the only goal. It adds this layer of unease.
Exactly. And it turns out Nigel has this secret. He's carrying something.
Hmm?
A warm, smooth, dark stone, about the size of a human heart, apparently. And he talks to it, or it talks to him. It guides him, whispering things like very close, treasure, and crucially, the rising is near.
Yeah, the source is clear. This isn't just a lucky charm. There are these early hints of something sinister. Nigel feels actual fear. His pulse races. He's sweating. He gets this feeling that he's doing something strictly forbidden and incredibly dangerous. So the stone isn't just guiding him. It's maybe using him, or at least affecting him deeply, physically. It's not a benign relationship.
Definitely not. Okay, so while this is brewing, the doctor and Martha show up. They're just looking for scones and cream, like you do. But they quickly run into old Barney, described as a bit of a scruff, but with sharp eyes. And he gives them these vague warnings about Creighton Mere. Not specifics, just a feeling.
Yeah.
Then we meet Angela Hook, 83 years old, drives a vintage Land Rover, which is brilliant, and Sadie Brown, who's the local well expert. They don't quite agree about old Barney, and they're actually trying to get the well restored.
And the doctor's reaction to the well is, well, it's immediate, isn't it? Almost grim. Martha's all ready to make a wish, innocently.
Yeah.
But the doctor, he pulls his hand back from the edge like he senses something ancient, something wrong. It's that intuition kicking in way before anyone else sees the danger.
Yeah, he knows something's off. Now, a place like this, obviously, it's going to have legends. The main one is about this 18th century highwayman. Story goes, he chucked his stolen gold and jewels down the well for safekeeping, and then, someone threw him in after it. Poetic justice, maybe.
Well, Sadie and Angela kind of dismiss these. Every village has its stories, ghosts, treasure, maybe some link to royalty, standard stuff. But you see the doctor quietly asking questions, probing. He clearly thinks there's more to it than just folklore. Angela even has this theory that the Gaskins, the rich family in the manor, maybe found that treasure ages ago.
And old Barney, he leans into the spooky side. He tells this story about Joe, the highwayman, coming back from the dead with cold, wet fingers looking for revenge. Martha just brushes it off, old wives' tale. But then things get incredibly real, incredibly fast. Right there by the well, old Barney, he just starts changing horrifically. There's this green light from his mouth. His teeth stretch into these gray spikes. Fingers get long and bony. Spines burst out of his skin. And then he just crumbles, turns into dust right in front of them. Any idea of a quaint village mystery? Gone instantly.
And the doctor's analysis is key here. He uses his sonic screwdriver, scans the dust, and says, look, this isn't alien tech messing with him. It's the human body itself undergoing this catastrophic molecular change. And the cause. A telekinetic force field, mental energy.
Mental energy, so something is thinking this into happening.
Exactly. An intelligence that can manipulate matter, even living bodies, just with thought. It turns its own consciousness into a weapon. It's a terrifying concept.
It really is. So after seeing that, the doctor knows he has to go down the well, especially because they tried lowering a bucket and something just yanked it down, snapping the rope. So he descends, and down there he finds this weird, pale, white weed. It's described as neither plant nor animal. Creepy. And then, maybe the creepiest bit, he finds the body of Tommy the cat, all mummified, but then its eyes open and it mews at him. Oof.
Yeah, and the doctor starts getting tangled in this weed. His sonic screwdriver doesn't really work on it properly. In fact, the sonic energy seems to make it grip tighter. He realizes he's being pulled down, drawn towards this sick, diseased heartbeat. And then he sees it, an intelligent, multi-eyed alien predator. He identifies it as a Vurosis, a protomolecular parasite from the Actron Pleiades star system. Think of it as this ancient thing that doesn't just kill it. It rewrites biology using psychic power, adapting its victims. And the wishing well. It's not just a well, it's been its nesting place, maybe for centuries. A place of power it's been using, growing, waiting.
Wow. Okay, so while the doctor's having that fun time, what about our treasure hunters? Nigel, Ben, and Duncan. That in the Gaskin Tunnel. Turns out it was started way back in 1902 by Rupert Gaskin, the current owner's great-grandfather, also looking for treasure. History repeating itself, sort of. And guess what they find? The highwayman skeleton, they call him Joe Bones, and all around it, that same weird, luminous white weed the doctor found. And then, well, you can guess what happens next, can't you? The skeleton moves, it animates, grabs Duncan, and Ben Seddon, he meets the same fate as old Barney, that horrific disintegration into dust.
And this is where you see the Vurosis isn't just acting on instinct, it's learning. Think about the progression. Tommy the cat, uncontrolled mutation, just mummification, old Barney. Accelerated mutation, but the body collapses into dust. Now, Duncan, the mutation is controlled enough that the animated skeleton can actually attack and kill Ben. It's adapting its methods, refining its control over biological matter. It's terrifyingly intelligent.
It makes it so much worse. It's not just a monster, it's a calculating one. And now we get the big reveal about Nigel's stone.
Ah, yes. The stone he's been carrying, talking to.
It's the brain of the Vurosis.
Which explains everything about Nigel. His obsession, the whispers, the talk of power, the feeling of danger. He's been directly linked to the entity's core consciousness all along.
And Duncan, he doesn't just get grabbed, he transforms fully into this spiny, monstrous thing covered in the white weed, but still wearing his clothes.
Yeah, the clothes detail makes it somehow more grotesque, a hybrid horror.
Right. And this monster, Duncan, starts chasing Martha and the doctor through the tunnel. Luckily, the doctor thinks fast, uses the sonic, causes a rockfall, and blocks him off. For now. Meanwhile, Nigel's behavior is getting more and more erratic. The source describes his hand as being covered in blood and cuts because the stone, the brain, is painfully feeding from him somehow. But he's still completely deluded. He thinks the brain will talk to him again, give him the power he craves. Even as the Vurosis is growing this huge thorny barrier and exclusion zone all around the well above ground, Nigel's end is bleak. He approaches the growing Vurosis structure, and there's just this blinding spark. Instant biomutation, and his body just crumbles away like dying embers.
And the Vurosis' internal thought, or maybe its communication via the brain, basically confirms its strategy. Nigel was no longer useful.
Cold. Utterly ruthless.
Absolutely. It confirms that cold, strategic intelligence we suspected. Any perceived connection or loyalty Nigel felt was purely one-sided. He was a tool, and his usefulness expired. It really drives home the predatory nature use, drain, discard.
Okay, so the doctor's trapped down the well. There's a monster version of Duncan somewhere. Nigel's gone. Things look bad. But Martha steps up. She's determined to save the doctor. And she goes for help, seeking out Angela Hook and Henry Gaskin, the owner of the manor. Now, these two have history. Bad history. Apparently, Gaskin was involved somehow in the death of Angela's husband, Roger, years ago during a mountaineering accident. They do not like each other.
Which makes their alliance even more significant, right? It takes this level of crisis, this alien threat, to make them put aside this deep-seated personal feud. It shows how extreme situations can reshape priorities.
Definitely. And it leads to this fantastic chase scene across the village green in Angela's old 1966 Land Rover. She just floors it and crashes straight through that thorn barrier the Vurosis built. Amazing. So this sets the stage for the final showdown. The Vurosis itself starts emerging from the well. It's described as massive, segmented, like an enormous worm with this monstrous head and tentacles, the full nightmare revealed. But the doctor, even down the well, figures something crucial out. He realizes the Vurosis is vulnerable right now. While it's nesting, growing that huge barrier, it's using up so much energy that it can't instantly mutate them like it did with Barney or Ben. It sees them as insignificant, no real threat, so it leaves them alone.
A miscalculation on its part because, as the doctor points out, they can be a threat, just not in the way the Vurosis expects.
Exactly, and this leads to the climax. The doctor, Martha, Angela, Gaskin, and Duncan, he's back. Apparently, the rock fall must have disrupted the Vurosis' control, and he reverted to human form.
Wow, okay, so he gets a second chance.
He does. And all five of them join hands around the well. It's not a weapon they use, it's their combined will, their collective human mental force.
And this combined mental energy somehow overpowers the Vurosis' own telekinetic field. They turn its power back on itself. It's a brilliant resolution, knowledge, understanding the enemy's nature, and unity overcoming raw power.
It really is powerful. You see the Vurosis light up from inside, hear it screaming, then it just blackens and crumbles into ash. Gone! And instantly the white weed withers and dies. And those villagers who got caught and mutated earlier, like Lucy the barmaid, they change back to normal, just like that. And then the final twist. Amidst all the ash and destruction at the bottom of the well, they find it. The actual highwayman's treasure. Bags of 18th century gold sovereigns.
Huh. After everything, the literal treasure is actually there. But finding the gold after defeating the cosmic horror, it really forces you to think about what treasure even means, doesn't it? Is it the gold? Or is it the fact that they survived, that old enemies united, that someone like Duncan found a new path? The source seems to suggest the real value came from the experience, the shared fight. What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. The gold almost feels like a footnote, a nice bonus, sure, but the real gain was surviving that thing and seeing people come together. It's quite ironic, really.
And the gold does find a good use. It funds the restoration of the, well, Gaskin Manor, the village green. Sadie Brown even uses her share to open a tea room she always wanted. So practical good comes from it, too.
And Martha gets a souvenir, a single gold sovereign. A little reminder of, well, quite a day out. Duncan Good, interestingly, decides to stick around. He stays to help restore the well, choosing a completely different life than the one he imagined chasing easy money. So what's the takeaway here for you listening?
Well, it means that even the most ordinary places, like a village wishing well, can hide secrets far beyond anything you could imagine. And sometimes the thing you think you're looking for, like buried treasure, turns out to be way less important than what you actually find, like, an ancient alien brain, or just the strength you find working together.
It definitely encourages you to think about the hidden layers, maybe in your own surroundings, or just in the stories you hear. The Vurosis, this parasite. It underlines that real understanding isn't just spotting a danger. It's about figuring out its nature, how it works, how it adapts, and finding its weakness. What seemingly harmless thing in your world, what local story, might have something far more complex going on underneath. Worth considering, maybe. Indeed. And that, my friends, was our deep dive into the real story behind Creighton Mere's Wishing Well. Until next time, keep your eyes open, keep your minds curious, and maybe, just maybe, be careful what you wish for.